Welcome to Talkin Tires, the podcast that delves deep into the world of tires. Join us as we explore everything from the science behind the manufacturing to the latest innovations in tire recycling. Our aim is to provide you with a comprehensive understanding of tires, including how they work, how to maintain them, and how to dispose of them responsibly. Whether you're a seasoned mechanic, curious car enthusiast, or an avid recycler, Talkin Tires is the perfect podcast for anyone who wants to learn about the essential component of the modern vehicle and heavy equipment. So buckle up and join us for an informative and engaging journey into the world of tires. All right, welcome back to another episode of Talkin Tires. I'm your host, Craig Hunter, president of Tire Reclaim, and we're here at the 10th annual Tire Recycling Foundation Conference in Denver, Colorado. It's an every 2-year conference. 2 years ago, we were in Atlanta, Georgia. This year, we get to be in beautiful Denver, Colorado. And I'm here with Doug Carlson from Liberty Tire. Welcome, Doug.
Well, thank you, Craig.
Yeah,
nice to be here.
Doug, what is your official title? Because I know it's asphalt and asphalt-based products, but what's your official on that? Is it
Vice President for Asphalt Products.
Vice President for Asphalt Products. That would make sense, right?
Right.
So I have these podcasts as a platform for the industry to talk about new things, talk about themselves, just kind of get to know the people that are in the industry, the comings and goings, if you will. So, Doug, how'd you get started in rubberized asphalt?
Yeah, well, I got started a long time ago, actually. It came through my mother. She was a legislator for the state of Arizona and later became a lobbyist, and then started working with, she worked on the tire legislation for the state. So I became somewhat knowledgeable about scrap tire issues, and eventually came to work for Craftco, the crack
we
seal
heard
company.
them speak yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is their 50th year anniversary. So she worked there in 86, 87, that time frame. And I was a college student, so I became an intern for the association that she ended up managing, which turned into the Rubber Pavements Association. It represented tire recycling companies and asphalt paving contractors that were using tire rubber in the United States, but it ultimately turned into a worldwide organization.
Way back then.
Yeah. So we had huge interest in rubberized asphalt all around the world. But part of my job was just to develop a technical library for the association, kind of like the Dewey Decimal System.
Of tires. I like it.
Yeah. So we try to categorize all the research by, what problem is tire rubber solving? What problem does the tire rubber solve in this highway report?
Yeah.
So I became really well versed in a lot of the technical issues related to rubberized asphalt as a result of that early exposure.
And the members of that board, tell me about that. Who were they?
Yeah, so it was tire recycling companies.
Okay.
And the paving contractors that use tire rubber. So that actually led me to Liberty because I became the director of that group, and Liberty started buying all of my tire recycling
they
member
will do
companies.
that. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so I went from about 10 tire recycling company member companies to just about 3 because Liberty acquired a few. So that's how I came to work for Liberty, though. So I've been really blessed to be able to do some of the same type of passionate work on the technology side.
That was my question. So at Liberty, they hired you and they say, hey, we want you to just keep doing what you're doing, but just do it for us. Is that fair?
Yeah,
okay.
So
all right.
My whole passion in life is to develop the rubberized asphalt market. To be able to do it for Liberty is a great thing, and also Liberty's open-minded, industry-minded. What's good for the industry is good for Liberty, and vice versa. So it's been I've been there 16 years now, and it's been a really fun
fantastic.
time. Yeah.
So you obviously had some losses, had some wins. Rubberized asphalt, rubber modified asphalt is seen its own roadblocks, no pun intended, right? So you want to talk about some of that? I mean, it's been a long battle.
Sure. Yeah, I've been at it 27 years now, and in the early days we were overcoming a lot of industry challenges from what was called the Intermodal Surface Transportation Efficiency Act. Some other people may have talked about that today. But it was a mandate, federal mandate, but it didn't provide any funding to the states on how to figure out how to do rubberized asphalt. And as you've come to know, it's kind of technical. Yeah, it's kind of technical.
Very technical.
So you just can't throw rubber into asphalt
a lot of testing,
and make it work.
A lot of proving out. Yeah.
So that ultimately caused a lot of heartburn in the country, nationwide, because a lot of contractors and states tried technologies that were not yet proven to work. So they experienced a lot of early failures. And
any funny stories there? Any that you saw, that you witnessed, that might have been just totally bonkers?
Well, the retread business was still pretty relevant as a source of crumb in the early days. Whole tire processing wasn't a thing in the early 90s. So one contractor used buffings from a retreading operation.
I'm very familiar.
You know buffings.
Yeah.
And so when they put it in the road and paved it, come back the next day and it looked like it needed a shave. All the buffings were sticking straight up in the air. It was.
It almost looked like the little nubs on the tires sticking out, right?
Exactly.
That's funny.
Yeah. So that was.
So that is a bonkers. That's kind of one of those things, and then it's like, oops.
Yes.
And what we've heard from other presenters is that can be a real big oops.
Yeah.
Like it might only cost them a little bit more to use the rubberized asphalt, but if they got to rip it out, now you're really talking about some big costs and issues. And
that does happen. Yeah. So specifications are important. The size of the rubber particle that you use and put it in the mix is important. So, and people need to be aware of that and understand the relationship between the rubber and the asphalt in the hot mix, especially. So.
All right. Well, that's some of the losses. What about some of the wins? Like we've obviously seen some big advancements very recently. So you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Yes, for sure. So we're experiencing kind of a resurgence of what is called the dry process, where rubber is added to the mix directly. Mm-hmm. So instead of being added to the liquid, that's a wet process. It's added to the liquid, the rubber gets wet. Added to the mix, the rubber stays dry. So until it gets mixed in with the regular asphalt there. So, but the rubber is handled dry. And the technology has vastly improved over the early days of the dry process. So now we use a real fine grind rubber, a lower dosage that's more attuned to modifying the binder, the liquid, to make the liquid more like rubber instead of the mix more like rubber. So that has been a technical advancement to the technology. So I call it the next generation dry process.
Okay, all right, I like that.
And there's a few technology providers that help create additives that make it more effective, more efficient.
And I've noticed that in some of the groups I've sat in, that additives are a big part of asphalt. I had no idea, but there's companies that are dedicated just to that. International companies, fairly large companies that are involved in a lot of those additives and having reaction happening a certain way, not sticking to this. So I guess I don't need you to go into that, but that is a partnership that needs to happen as well, right? Is getting everybody on the same recipe, if you will. How does that come about? Are you going right to the pavement engineer and kind of designing it from there? Can you talk a little bit about how that process works? Making sure you got the right product for the right job, I guess.
Sure. Yeah. So a lot of the interest in additives came recently with what's called warm mix technology. So trying to reduce the overall temperature of the asphalt paving material so you can compact it at lower temperature. Lower temperatures reduce the emissions.
And that so the benefit of that is emissions?
Emissions control less oxidation of the asphalt.
Okay.
Because the more you cook asphalt, the worse it gets. So you
makes
sense. Cook all the good stuff out of it.
Yeah, and more fumes come off of it. So that makes perfect sense.
So warm mix additives were big in the early 2000s, and a lot of them were used in the next generation dry process. So the additives have helped make using rubber easier for the contractor. So trying to solve problems with the contractor. Specifically, warm mix helps reduce the stiffness of the mix when you're compacting it. So it's nice and easy to roll and compact in place. And you end up with a better quality material as well. So, and it's got rubber in it too, which makes it really good.
Yeah, and that was another question I was going to have, because you did mention the dry process might be using a little less rubber. Does that turn off Liberty or some of these other folks, or is it still enough volume to kind of make it worth it, if you will? Because I myself, as a chrome rubber producer, I get behind these technologies for outlets, right?
Yeah.
And some of the press molding stuff that we're getting into is because it takes a lot of rubber to make those products, and we can sell them. Therefore, we're moving a lot of rubber. That dry process still requires enough rubber to move the needle, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
Yes. So I grew up in the wet process industry, and it can use 3 times more rubber than the dry process. So in terms of volume, you can push a lot more material through the wet process. But it has a lot of complications in the supply chain. You have to work with blenders and terminals, and you create a modified liquid that you got to move.
And agitate.
Yes, keep it heated, agitated, so very complicated.
Gotcha.
But it still makes a premium product. So, but it also makes the mix producers have to use a special type of mix. They got to change their aggregate stockpiles. So they're making aggregate all the time, just like we make. We crush, cut up crumb to certain fractions.
Yep.
Mix plants do the same thing with aggregate.
Okay.
So if you come in with a product that says, well, we got to change your aggregate stockpiles, they don't get very happy about that approach. So what's advantageous about the new dry process is it can go into just about any standard mix. So what that means, even though you're using less rubber, you have more opportunity to use rubber everywhere. So instead of going to one plant only and they have that special mix, now you can go to every plant in the country and use their standard mixtures. So the potential upside is enormous with the new dry process. And so that's what's attracted Liberty to help support it.
So little detour here, no pun intended. I have tons of these.
Okay.
My kids would call them dad jokes, right? But the chip seal program. So we have tons of chip seal going on in Idaho all the time. I actually have a couple cities that are wanting to talk about it, how rubberized chip seal works. Can you talk about that a little bit? I know we got some stuff going on in Utah and whatnot.
Yeah, sure. So just a little background. Chip seal is where rubberized asphalt rubber started. Okay. So it was the first widely adopted pavement system in the country and worldwide. So hot applied asphalt rubber binder using the blenders and the special distributor trucks to spray the liquid membrane on the ground.
And for those that don't know what chip seal is, so go ahead.
Yeah. So the hot applied chip seal is the rubber particulate is undissolved, so it stays present in the binder, and the binder sprayed hot onto the road surface with a special truck, and it creates a real thick membrane, about 0.6 of a gallon per square yard, so almost half a jug of milk
Pretty thick
per square yard. Yeah. But it is also thick in viscosity. Terms of viscosity, so it doesn't run away. It kind of stays where you spray it.
I saw that with the squeegee guy moving it around. It was a much different. The video I saw,
very thick,
it was
viscous.
Different, more than I thought, thicker than I thought.
Yeah. So that really creates an awesome pavement sealant, and they put the chip part is they drop stone rocks on the top of the membrane while it's still hot, and embed the stone chips, and that's really to create a driving surface that's not slick. You got stone aggregate that gives you better friction characteristics with the tire rubber. And it also keeps the tires off of the membrane, so they're not coming in contact with your membrane. So they're riding on the rocks.
So then rollers got to go on immediate from what I hear.
Yeah, seat the aggregate so it gets embedded, and that type of hot applied asphalt rubber chip seal cures very quickly. As soon as it cools down, it becomes very firm, a hardened material, so it's not going to move around. And that's one of the appeals to that type of technology. It's very thick, very durable. You get 3 times the amount of membrane thickness using rubber on the roadway compared to a conventional chip seal, which is very, very thin. And you get the durability. So,
is there another treatment on top of that? Do some guys put another spray over the top?
It's the best practice.
Okay.
Yeah, so they would put a fog seal, another spray applied asphalt.
Would that have rubber in it too, or
you can?
Okay.
Yeah, so there are companies that have rubberized surface treatments that it can be used to kind of seal the rocks in place as well. But oftentimes a common practice is to use a slurry seal, which is an emulsified asphalt. And emulsions are hard to use with rubber because the rubber particles, they tend to kind of gather together in an asphalt liquid if you don't have all the special equipment. So it's hard to get rubber in
speaking
emulsion.
of that special equipment, obviously there's a lot of investment that's involved in these things. Costs are always attributed to that type of thing. So it's definitely not cheaper to do the rubberized chip seal, but what are some of the benefits? I remember you talking about at least double the lifetime. Is that where you head with that? Or?
Triple the lifetime. So one of my earliest pavement performance review projects, I did a little study with Arizona DOT in the year 2000, and we looked at all the technologies all the test sections that were placed in the early days that were 20 years old or older. And one of them happened to be a chip seal that was placed in the 80s, and it was virtually crack-free. I mean, it was literally crack-free in Casa Grande, Arizona. And there was zero maintenance done to that surface for 20 years. So incredible performance. So you really get at least double the life compared to conventional material. And I would say sometimes 5 times the life cycle.
Wow. So you're standing in front of the board, you're standing in front of the decision maker. Are those the things you're talking about then, is the life
cycle cost? Yeah. So you're going to save money by not having to maintain that roadway year after year, or every 2 years, or every 5 years, whatever the maintenance cycle is for your standard chip seal. With a rubberized chip seal, now you're extended to a 10-year life cycle. So it really stretches your pavement maintenance budget, saves your pavement maintenance budget. And the other benefit is that these membranes are very thick and durable, as we just discussed, a lot of liquid in a square yard. So you can go on to pavements that are in much worse condition.
That's where I was headed next.
Yeah. So you can really treat a roadway that's in terrible shape with a heavy-duty asphalt rubber membrane sealant, which standard chip seals just can't touch. Because if you put them on that badly damaged roadway, badly alligator cracked, aged, oxidized surface, the
roads that might have been deemed trash, ready to be milled and repoured or something, but you're able to save those in essence.
Exactly, yeah.
Gotcha.
So instead of doing the milling and replacing the pavement with an asphalt hot mix, which is pretty expensive,
right?
Now you can come in with the in-between cost asphalt rubber chip seal that can really save that roadway and delay the hot mix overlay, sometime in the future. So it gives the city some more time to come up with the budgets that they need to.
Right. Someone had mentioned that there are some areas in Idaho where they're milling it and just making it a dirt road, basically putting the gravel right back. And then now that has a maintenance factor as well, where you might be able to go in and save that road. And I'm sure the community, people that are driving up and down that road, even if it's an old country road, somebody lives out there, somebody's driving down there.
Yes.
And if you can tell them, hey, we can put this down and it's not going to be a dirt road, to me, that would be happy constituents for those decision makers, those commissioners, if you will, and the folks that actually make those calls.
Yeah. I agree. I have heard some rural counties that have returned roads to gravel just because they lack the maintenance budget. So I think this would be a great tool for rural communities to save those roads, because there's a lot that, besides the annoyance of driving on gravel and trying to go 50 miles an hour, or what have you.
Absolutely.
It's noisy, a lot of dust, and
Broken windshields.
and you get potholes, and so I think using an asphalt rubber chip seal on a rural road that's ready for gravel could save it and make it last another 5 or 7 years. Or
So what's the future hold for rubber modified asphalt? What do you see? It's a big topic here at the show.
Yes,
a lot of folks there's a buzz, if you will, that you've got the upswing on projects getting fulfilled. So what do you think's coming down? That you think it's going to be one of the major rubber consumers of the United States of America? You think that's coming?
Yeah, I do. So there's a lot of momentum from different areas, all pushing toward more use of rubber in roads. And a big part, in my opinion, is just the cost. The cost to do it is actually come down. This dry process that we've talked about, it's really very easy to do, very low cost. So it makes it easy for DOTs to deploy the technology. So that's a big driver. The cost of the alternatives. So polymer costs are going up. So and asphalt costs are going up. So
oil, right?
The less you have to use year after year, the more you save. So I think that the cost of doing business with rubber is dropping, bigger economies of scale and what have you. The other driver, I think, is coming from the commercial side. So I'm seeing a lot more use on the commercial paving side of the business. It's not just DOTs that are looking for long-term performance, but also there's the environmental aspect. It is a green product, but it makes it worthwhile because you get the added performance, added life cycle to the material. But some customers just want to use it because it helps promote the environmental stewardship, conservation of resources, and good practices. So the new dry processes are very easy for the commercial customers to use. And one of the drivers there is pavement management. We talked about a little bit about that yesterday.
The data.
Pavement management. Right. So a lot of these commercial enterprises leased their facilities. So where they had a big building with a massive parking lot, that was all leased. So they didn't actually own the pavement. So they weren't so concerned about the maintenance of the pavement. But now, with a lot of commercial retailers, they own their properties now. And so now they have a vested interest in maintaining the pavement because they own it. And so now these longer lasting surface treatments are becoming a greater interest.
It's the jobs I don't think about, honestly. I always go straight to state, county, city, and the roads. Yeah. But you're absolutely right. There's a lot more asphalt out there than just those that I mentioned. There's a lot of commercial asphalt. Walmarts, the Home Depots, the Lowe's.
Those are still big parking lots. Each one can use over 20,000 scrap tires beneficially in a thin surface treatment.
Yeah.
But I know malls are closing here. Everything's going online. But
we have one of the last ones in Boise, from what I've heard.
But their parking lots are massive.
They are big. Yeah.
So if you can cover those with some rubber, you're moving a lot of rubber.
Well, we've covered a lot today. Is there anything we missed? I know you have a lot of information rattling around up in there, but I think we've covered it pretty good. Anything that you're excited about, you want to talk about today?
No, I think we covered it pretty well.
Great.
So,
great.
Obviously I could talk about this for days on end.
Well, I'm really excited about the partnership. We've done the show here, and Liberty Tire has been a big part of kind of almost like holding my hand a little bit, like, hey, here's the things, here's the technologies that we know are in motion. See if you can get a part of that. And you've been a real big help to me at that conference that you invited me to, going and learning more about the Rocky Mountain District and how they utilize rubber modified asphalt, which is very little, which just shows that we have a long way to go, but we have a big opportunity. Exactly. Right. So I'm excited the fact that you kind of have helped me get quickly educated, and I look forward to the future. So thanks for coming on,
All
Doug.
right.
All right, I appreciate
Well,
you.
thanks for having me.
You
Yeah.
bet. Have a good day.
All right. Take care.